Hello, everyone. This week, someone submitted a question saying, I was wondering if there was a practical usage for using the confidence interval for predicting an expected Y value with regression, because we also learned about the confidence interval for predicting an individual Y value, which seems to be much more important. I'm going to just make a little rephrase here. So we have a confidence interval for predicting an expected Y value. And then the second one, I would say this is a prediction interval for predicting an individual Y value. But I definitely get your point, but it's a little semantic, but I just want to make sure we make that distinction. So essentially, this really doesn't come down to which one's more important. It's more about perspective. So let's suppose that you were an insurance company and you were insuring a lot of people in a particular region. And so you could think about what the estimated damage would be if there was a flood in the area. And you would want to make sure to balance your portfolio so that you wouldn't put yourself at that much risk as the insurance company. And also this might help you know what to charge. So in this case, creating a confidence interval for predicting the expected damage would possibly be exactly what you wanted. But it could be equally as important to know about the prediction interval for an individual Y value. So they might want to know, what is my exposure on any particular policy where they could have a flood? So it's really more about perspective rather than one being more important than the other. And it's also about the interpretation. So when you say that you have a confidence interval for predicting an expected Y value, you're really just saying for a group of people who are all in a similar situation, what is my range of likely values for the outcome, right? Versus for one person individually, what's the range of likely values for that person? So let's suppose another example that we were talking about surgeries, and we wanted to know about the predicted amount of time taken for a surgery. So if you were thinking about the hospital, you could say, okay, we have lots of surgeries in a particular day, and I know that if we predicted that amount of time, that on average, this is how much a particular OR would be used. And then I might decide, oh, based on all of these things, maybe I need to build another OR. But another question could be for any individual patient, their prediction interval is going to be much wider because things can happen with an individual that don't necessarily balance out the same way. And so you're wondering about how much time should I tell this particular person that they're going to be in surgery, right? So then you want to be able to give a range that people aren't worried if the surgery is not complete, and they also have planned out in their day the right amount of time for going into surgery. So once again, I wouldn't say that one or the other is more important. It's more just about perspective and what you're trying to predict at the end of the day. If you are more interested in what happens on average to a group of people who are in a similar situation, or if you want to say what is likely to happen for a single person in this situation. So those two things are slightly different. One, we're describing the confidence interval for a prediction for a particular situation, but lots of people, what happens on average. And the other is that you have one particular person and you want to know about the prediction interval for that single prediction. Okay, so a single prediction gives you a prediction interval, and a group who have all the same values. We can think about that expected Y value, then we're going to talk about the confidence interval. So I hope you learned something about the difference between confidence intervals and prediction intervals, and I'll see you next time.